it took Griff a little while to find the CBO. It also took us a while. It took a while for us, meaning you, to get the CBO report on Senator Reid's health care bill. But the numbers are out, and Steve Moore calls them ridiculous and laughable. CBO estimates the bill would cost $849 billion over the next 10 years, and in the same amount of time would reduce our deficit by $127 billion. Is that possible? Join us live, Steve Moore, senior economic writer for the Wall Street Journal editorial page. And they keep talking about scoring the bill. They don't.
I knew where the CBO was. I used to work right down the hall from them.
So
but they're the most powerful people in Washington these days.
How about the numbers? What's the story in these numbers?
Well, first of all, I'm going to come clean. Full confession. I have not read that bill yet. I don't think anybody has. And isn't it interesting? Every time we do this, this bill gets longer and longer. Remember, we started it with 1,100 pages, then 1,500, and this one's over 2,000 pages.
I know, it's like 10 trees are down.
But it's interesting to me, though, Greta, that the Congressional Budget Office had this document 2 weeks before the United States senators and the members of the House of Representatives. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Now, here's the big leap of faith.
And I'll tell you my new favorite part of it. Go ahead.
How in the world can you create a new entitlement program that's going to cover 30 million Americans? Almost 1 in 10 Americans will be covered under a new entitlement program, and it's going to save money. This is craziness. No one believes this. And you know, the way I look at it, this is, I heard Lindsey Graham say this was Enron accounting. I think it's Bernie Madoff accounting. I mean, if a private company tried to live by the accounting rules in this bill.
Wait a second. It's ridiculous. This is 2,200 pages or whatever, it's 2,000, and it has programs that nobody has any idea how much these programs cost, how much the inflation. I mean, like, here, my favorite one, here's another one, the National Independent Monitor Demonstration Project. Now, who in the world can figure out how much that costs? It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd to sort of figure out a number and score and tell the American people it costs. I mean, so at least we ought to be honest that that's absurd.
But the big story is Harry Reid is now running around Washington saying, I've got this bill and it's going to reduce the budget deficit, and the president will say this tomorrow.
$200 billion doesn't count with the doctors.
This is a really important point. They took $200 billion of the cost and they just didn't count it. I mean, that's what I'm talking about this kind of illegal auditing and accounting that they're doing. Another thing they did, Greta, I mean, this is important. They basically took 10 years of tax revenues, but they only counted 7 years of the spending. And that's the way they're able to say that.
Which means it starts in 2013, but they start charging you now.
So if you counted 10 years over 10 years.
You'll feel much better, though. I swear, every viewer is going to feel so much better when I'm going to read the next section. No, you're going to feel much better. I promise you. All right. Here's my favorite new section. My favorite section used to be the National Independent Monitor Demonstration Project. That used to be my favorite. Here's my new one. It is section 6601. Mark that down, 6601. Okay. It's called Prohibition on False Statements and Representations.
What is that?
It means you can't lie in this bill.
Right. I think there's a lot of lies. They are starting with the accounting lie.
It says no person in connection with a plan or other arrangement that is a multiple employer welfare arrangement described in Section 340 shall make a false statement or false representation of fact knowing to be false in connection with the. It goes on and on. Yeah. So basically, I don't know if it applies to the people who. Pushing it, but anyway, no false statements.
Bottom line here, though, is you cannot create a we know how we got in this national debt crisis in the first place. Everyone who's watching the shows knows. We created these entitlement programs. We never pay for them. They get bigger and bigger like monsters. And we're doing it again. And then the Congressional Budget Office says to the American people, this is going to pay for itself. It's free.
But see, I'm one beat off from all this. I don't know whether it's a good bill or not. What I don't like is the fact that we're scammed on what the price is. As though I'm not sure you can come up with the price, but at least you ought to be honest and say, look, we can't possibly figure this is what we think. But I mean, it's so ridiculous to act like this is the golden number. Let me ask a question. CBO, do they ever revise numbers?
Do they revise
numbers? Yeah.
In fact, what happens is they go back years and years later and they say, oops, we missed. It's going to cost 5 times more. In fact, you know, that's the history of Medicare, Medicaid, all of these programs. They always cost more than they think they will.
But you see, even if they said this is honest,
right?
You know, I'd feel better. I mean, to see that they can't honestly. I mean, they can't honestly get the numbers. I'd feel better.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to a former Congressional Budget Office director today, somebody who used to run the program. He said this is completely implausible. Another one said it's laughable. I mean, really, I think the Congressional Budget Office, their integrity has really been put in jeopardy by this scoring because no one really believes you can do this. I mean, it's the ultimate free lunch. It's tooth fairy accounting.
It's unbelievable. I love these. I love the index. The index is just so extraordinary, the numbers.
Right.
There's an excess tax on elective cosmetic medical procedures, though, so Botox is going to get it.
And the fact that all these members of the Congress and the Senate are being asked to comment on this bill, Greta, and they haven't had a chance to read the bill. The Congressional Budget Office has had this thing for 2 weeks. Members of Congress haven't seen it yet.
I don't know. So what's going to happen? Is this going to pass?
Well, I don't think so. I think there's going to be a revolt among the senators, and I think there's going to be a revolt among the American people. This isn't on the internet yet.
Gotta go. Steve,
Okay.
thanks. Get reading.